We live in a time where visibility has become a form of currency. Attention is no longer just desired, it's chased. People document their mornings, their meals, their workouts, their smiles, their breakdowns. Life is no longer simply lived, it is performed. And this performance has become so normal that questioning it feels strange. If you don't post, people ask why. If you disappear for a while, they assume something is wrong. Silence has become suspicious. But what if silence isn't absence? What if it's awareness? Because beneath the constant noise, beneath the endless stream of updates and opinions, there exists another way of being, a quieter one, a path chosen not by accident, but by understanding. There is a group of people you rarely notice. They don't dominate feeds. They don't narrate their lives in real time. They don't announce every milestone or setback. And yet, they are not disconnected. They are not lost. They are not behind. In many ways, they are ahead. This video is about them, not as a moral judgment, but as a philosophical observation, because they have understood something deeply uncomfortable, something most people avoid confronting. That constant visibility is not freedom, it's exposure, and exposure always comes at a cost. The illusion of presence. Modern culture has convinced us that being seen is the same as existing. If it's not posted, it feels incomplete. If it's not acknowledged, it feels unreal. But this belief is fragile, because the moment your sense of existence depends on external confirmation, your identity becomes conditional. You begin to exist only when others respond. Likes become reassurance. Views become validation. Silence becomes anxiety. And slowly, without noticing, you outsource your sense of self. Those who choose not to participate fully in this system are often misunderstood. They're labeled distant, private, sometimes even arrogant or insecure. But what's rarely considered is that their withdrawal may not come from fear, but from clarity. They've noticed that every time you share something personal, you give up control over how it's interpreted. Every image becomes open to judgment. Every story becomes raw material for assumptions. And once something is public, it no longer belongs entirely to you. The price of exposure. Every platform promises connection. But connection and exposure are not the same thing. True connection requires vulnerability, but also boundaries. Exposure removes boundaries entirely. When you share constantly, you train others to consume your life passively. They no longer need to ask how you are. They already know, or at least they believe they do. But what they know is a version, a curated surface, a narrative shaped for visibility, not truth. And maintaining that narrative is exhausting. You start thinking about moments in terms of how they'll look. You experience events through a future lens, imagining reactions before the experience has even settled. The present becomes a staging area for the future. Those who step away from this cycle regain something subtle but powerful: undivided presence. They are not preparing content. They are not documenting proof. They are simply there. Silence as power. There is a misconception that influence comes from volume, that the loudest voice carries the most weight. But history suggests the opposite. In philosophy, silence has always held significance, not as emptiness, but as restraint, as intention. When someone speaks rarely, their words carry gravity. When someone appears occasionally, their presence matters. Scarcity sharpens attention. Those who don't post constantly are not diluted by overexposure. They are not predictable. They are not always available. And in a world of endless availability, restraint becomes strength. People notice what is missing more than what is excessive. Absence creates curiosity. Mystery commands respect. This isn't manipulation. It's human psychology. When everything is accessible, nothing feels valuable. The dopamine trap. There is a biological layer to all of this. Every notification triggers a small chemical reward, a like, a comment, a reaction. The brain learns quickly. It begins to associate expression with reward, sharing with affirmation, existence with approval. Over time, this feedback loop changes behavior. Experiences are chosen not for meaning, but for shareability. Opinions are shaped for reception, not honesty. Identity bends toward what performs best. This is not weakness, it's conditioning. And those who opt out, or at least step back, interrupt that conditioning. They reclaim authorship over their internal life. Their joy is not measured. Their pain is not optimized. Their growth is not broadcast. It happens quietly, privately, without an audience. And this privacy becomes a form of psychological safety, the fortress of the private self. When nothing is constantly displayed, nothing is constantly judged. No comparisons, no unsolicited opinions, no invisible scorekeeping. This creates a rare kind of freedom. A freedom to change without explanation, to struggle without documentation, to succeed without announcement. Those who live this way often appear calm, not because their lives are easier, but because their inner world is protected. They do not need to defend who they are. They do not need to maintain an image. They do not need to explain silence. Their identity is not negotiable. It exists whether anyone is watching or not. Rebellion, without noise. Choosing not to share everything in a culture that demands exposure is quietly radical. It is a refusal to become a product, a refusal to turn life into content, a refusal to trade intimacy for attention. This refusal does not shout, it doesn't announce itself, but it resists nonetheless. Invisibility, in this sense, is not erasure. It's autonomy. You cannot be easily categorized. You cannot be easily consumed. You cannot be easily reduced. And that unsettles systems built on predictability, connection without performance. When you don't broadcast your life, people who want to know you must approach you directly. They must ask. They must listen. They must engage. This filters relationships naturally. Curiosity replaces surveillance. Conversation replaces consumption. Those who remain are not there for updates. They are there for you. And that changes everything. The role we forget. We're playing. Many people don't realize how much of their daily life is shaped by an imagined audience. What they wear, where they go, how they react. The phone becomes a mirror that never turns off. Stepping away from this mirror can feel disorienting at first, but eventually, it becomes liberating. You stop acting. You stop narrating. You stop editing yourself in real time. Life regains texture. Moments are no longer flattened into images. They retain emotion, imperfection, depth. Memory becomes richer than documentation. Immunity to judgment. One of the most overlooked benefits of privacy is invisibility to constant evaluation. If nothing is shown, nothing can be dissected. No opinions to counter. No appearances to critique. No progress to compare. This doesn't make someone invulnerable, but it removes unnecessary weight. Judgment loses its grip when it has nothing to attach to, and within that absence of judgment, peace grows. The future of value. We are moving toward a world where attention is cheap and privacy is rare. In that world, the ability to remain unseen will become a privilege, not because it's fashionable, but because it's protective. The most valuable resource will not be followers. It will be focus, not visibility, but ownership of time, not exposure, but inner stability. Those who learn this early will not need to unlearn it later. So the question isn't whether posting is good or bad. It's not about morality or superiority. The real question is simpler and harder. Who are you when no one is watching? Not when you're performing, Not when you're presenting, not when you're being validated, but when the screen is dark, when the audience disappears, when the moment belongs only to you. Because whatever remains in that silence, that is your foundation. And those who have learned to live there quietly may already understand something the rest of the world is still chasing.